Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. It's been a little while, and I gotta set my cameras up. It looks like I'm in the middle of a dark cave, so let me take a moment to do that. How's everyone doing? Hey there, Mark. Hey everyone joining in. Does my volume sound okay as I fix my webcam? Let's see here, configure that. And this exposure is supposed to be automatic exposure, but automatic exposure doesn't work if it looks like I'm trapped in the abyss. But there we go, that's a lot better there. Hey Gabe, how are you doing as well? Welcome. So let me just check my cameras. I'm going to check the cameras and then we're going to get ready to do some gameplay and the like. There's the web browser cam, looks fine. Then we've got the game cam. Game cam could be aimed right there a little better. And then the game over there. So the photos you took there did not come out. It was too out of date. Oh, that's interesting. So absolutely nothing came out, or they were very, very, very light, very dark, very something. I would love to see if there really was anything on that film at all. I thought we had some good settings on that, and I have the photos that I took. We can see them later on, but for the moment, we got some gameplay to do. So I've got the challenge of the day, but I'm going to re-roll that just to see. So we got that. Okay, I'll do some gameplay to get today's goal as people start to congregate, and we'll chat on a variety of things. You got some slides out of it you can analyze later. It wasn't slide film, was it? So what do you mean that you got some slides out of it? Maybe scans on a CD or let me see, I gotta fix my camera over here. So I thought it was negative film, so I'm not sure what the what do you mean by slides? So I've been playing Magic for a little bit in the last few weeks, and I'm seeing an oversaturation. I guess people like it. I'm seeing an oversaturation of the Lord of the Rings cards. I'm playing, of course, as usual, Brawl, and everyone's just playing lots of Lord of the Rings cards. Almost every player that I play is Lord of the Rings, so I suppose that means it's a big success for Wizards of the Coast. And I'm just plodding along with my own non-Lord of the Rings cards. We'll do some gameplay with these cards. Literally a bunch of slides in a box from a complimentary. Yeah, I would really love to know what's going on there because. So they gave you back your negatives, but as slides, but you're saying there's nothing. But you're saying there's nothing on the photos. So I'd love to see that. So I'd love to know what's going on with that photography. One of the so when we met up and took those photos, I think I had two cameras, and on one of the cameras I was also using old film, and my photos came out, but they were very, very, very low. Um, they didn't. They their colors were very weak. So All right, so I got a little distracted on that attack. I tackled the wrong things. But Saruman of many colors is the opponent. There's a novel there. I'm sure we'll figure it out once they do stuff. But we'll see. It says color slides on the box. Quality E6 sites processing. Don't know if the negatives. Well, C41 is the regular chemicals for regular negatives, for regular prints, negatives. E6 processing is the chemical for making slides. You shouldn't process E6. You shouldn't process regular negatives, C41 negatives. You shouldn't process them in E6 chemicals. They will turn into slides, but the colors and such will be very, very weird. So, so maybe there was a mix-up somewhere that they got, hey there, Stevie, how are you doing? So maybe there's a mix-up or something somewhere that something happened that the negatives were processed as slides, and you got them as slides, but then they were also messed up somehow, so I don't know. Very weird, but yeah, I'd love to see them. Did you get them on any CD? Or they're all just negatives? And then when you look at the slides in the light, you can see that they don't look good at all. So that's how you're confirming that none of this all worked. None of it worked for you. Oh man, so now they're going to go hit the thing here, so that's enough of that. Bring to the next get-together to show. Yeah, I'd like to see them. I don't know if there was a get-together this past weekend. I know Catherine was asking about meeting up to play Magic. I don't know if you all went. I wasn't able to do it, but she was asking a few days ago. So how's everyone doing? How's your week? Tell me about that. It's been a little bit since we did a Magic stream. All right, so here's 2 out of 2 Lord of the Rings card. So we'll keep a running tally, but I've seen a lot of people, I think people really like the new cards and such, but I'm seeing them a lot. All right, well, this is a big ol' scry deck, I guess. Sentinel 07162110 is the username, so I wonder if that has very much meaning. Let's see if they read that card. You should... Okay, they know what it does, I guess. So I was out taking photos earlier myself, so I got yet another one of these vintage cameras. This one's from the 50s. What is this? The Agfa Silet LK. And it's a pretty cool camera that I was just having some fun with. Oh, wow. So they have here the perfect combo that now they have that unblockability that they're just pumping up there all on that one creature. You were surprised you didn't show up for Magic. Oh, okay, so you did. So there was Magic today. I see. Okay. I guess people kind of mentioned, that it was gonna happen, I guess, but then I didn't see any notifications about it being confirmed. So, yeah, I guess I missed it because I don't know what my notifications weren't saying anything. Oh, there were 14 messages. Okay, yeah, none of those came to me. I'm just seeing them right now for the first time. Well, was also the other Victor there? Because I see now that I'm catching up on the chat there, I'm seeing there was a good games, GG's. Yeah, I was completely all my notifications. Um, None of those came in. All right, so if I survive this next turn, and yeah, they could do 17 damage, but if I survive this, then I'll have some good stuff going on. But there is that. Then there is a scry there. So that I guess becomes 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think that's going to be 11 damage there. As long as it's not 17, we'll be okay for the next turn. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That might be 12. So I think we'll make it. Unless they have 2 more mana. So let's see. 8, 9, 10. And that's nothing. Okay, so we'll survive because we've got, and then they're not attacking. They should attack with everything. All right, so here's what we're gonna do for ourselves. Bantu will do double duty. And we got to go for a big old alpha strike here. 2, 3, 4. So they will lose their commander. Fine. So now that's probably unblockable, but I don't think it'll do 17 damage. Let's see what happens. What does that do? Enchantment. Whenever you scry, put a verse counter, and then exile verses later. Okay, who cares? So, yeah, I don't think if they could do that Rain of Revelation or whatever to bounce everything back. But besides that, I think we're in a very good position here. They have enough mana to do an extra turn spell. Okay, so they're going to do the return stuff, and they do a scry and they do a tempt. That's fine. That's not going to do the damage. 17. Verse counter doesn't matter. There's 8 damage there. It's also unblockable, right? Yeah, 2 million lines of text. So we'll see what happens. Back up in Death Touch, who cares? Yeah, I think we won this one. They just have way too much. I've got way too many attackers. They've got enough blockers, and I'm doing all that damage from the Monument and Ayara, so whatever they block, that's fine. All right, so we got them. Well, there's always something to worry about. There's so many cards nowadays. I don't want to get into yet another gripe corner. I feel I do that every stream. But it's just so many cards nowadays that it's hard to keep up to date with what they do, so you never know. You might think you have an arsenal ready and all of that, and then one card changes everything. And with so many new cards being printed all the time, I don't doubt that there's always new cards. People want... On Arena, people want to... okay, there's our first non-Lord of the Rings card. But people want Arena to go back to old sets and modern and bring back all of the cards from the past. No need. They publish so many new cards and variations of cards that for the newcomers, it's the best time ever to play Magic. Maybe for old timers that are nostalgic of old cards, maybe you want the old cards, but there's just so many new cards with so many new mechanics that it's just stuff for days. Ha 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 ha. I trashed that little elf guy that I hate. But that's fine. So I'm playing that Ayara deck that we made, or that I made a while ago, and it's fun overall. Mono black with a lot of that little creatures. Everything's a 1-mana creature, and everything's a 1-mana creature, and it does a lot of pain and drain. Oh, this is Bone Shards, I bet. Pausing for priority with 1 mana. Have the blocker here. Rutstein's pretty fun. When I made that deck, it was weird and fun. It never felt like it really won when I was playing it, but let's see on their side. It's going to be the old sacrifice their creature to kill my creature. Oh no, village rights. Okay. That's fine. I guess the opponent is a Golgari deck, so it's fine if they discard stuff just like that. Well, at least they milled that Cobra. So it keeps pausing on one single green mana, so I bet that's going to be their protection. Their mono green protection thing. All right, slow player slow. Come on, everyone. What are you all up to? So, how's the weather? Say, can you say? So, on my side of things, the YouTube channel. So, I guess to be honest, I'm gonna pivot it a little bit. I'll still do the Saturday streams, pretty much, but I'm probably not gonna do as many of the Magic focused videos. I'll probably still do the shorts because they're short, but the like making decks and figuring out the best synergies and all of that. I'm not too into it like I was before. It just doesn't seem to be as viable as it used to be on YouTube to do that. Like I said, there's just lots and lots and lots of cards and lots of products and strategies and stuff to keep up with. So I just feel it's a little too fast. So I'll still be doing shorts, but I don't really see myself doing some big. And my stats show me that they're if my stats were showing me that things were worth it, then I would continue to do it. But I don't see that that all of the effort in making the Magic deck techs is as worthy as before. So comic books, the ones I've been publishing recently, the videos of comics that I've been putting out recently have been doing well enough. So it's going to be a bit more focused on comics on my main channel, and maybe once in a while other things, because I would rather do a variety of things, not just one topic. But YouTube doesn't like that. They do want a channel focused on one topic, but I'll still do the Saturday streams. So then I don't know if that changes much the desire for all of you to keep up to date on my YouTube. Because I don't know about all of you, but I think most of you, or many of you, I don't know, you can tell me in the chat actually, I shouldn't even guess, but is it like, come for the magic, stay for the magic, or whatever reason you like to see my stuff? So I'll be down to hang out. Yeah, definitely the It'll still be magic streams. Let's read this thing. Fine. Yep, I've been enjoying the Photoshop ones too. I'm even thinking of doing live streams on some of those things on other days. Keep it for the Saturday magic streams. But then do other things on other days. Wow, this deck is not wanting to cooperate. But I'll just keep plugging away. Like, for example, on Friday, ooh, that's a good one to get rid of and a good one for me to get as well. But anyway, on Fridays, I'm planning, I haven't been able to do it yet. I have my alarm for it, but other things have happened. So on Fridays, I haven't figured out what time yet. But on Fridays, I've been thinking of doing a live stream, but comic book focused live stream on, not on whatever day I said. On Friday, I've been planning to do that, a comic book stream on Friday nights once in a while. And then Saturdays, the magic, and then other things on other times. Photos and magic, comics, different library categories. Yeah, but like I'm saying, YouTube isn't, doesn't quite reward you for doing whatever you want. It is, they want you to focus on a topic. And so I did start on the side another little channel. I'll mention it in a moment. You can, maybe all of you that are here, just to help out the numbers, you can unsubscribe later. But hey, if all of you that are here, if you could go to the YouTube channel Digicams for Days, that's a brand new YouTube channel that I have started up that's focused on digital cameras. And if y'all check that out, if you give that a sub, I think there's 1 subscriber. Yes, opponent, you can protect your creature. But anyway, if you check that out, all right, so before any of that, let's do this, which will let me exile half their their library, or not even exile it, but let's just make that unblockable, because that's unblockable. So toss that all in the graveyard and make an unblockable, everything unblockable. So yeah, that's fun. We prefer to have our shows during 7 to 9 o'clock blocks. Oh, sorry, what was that? You were going to invite you to your improv so you can witness the improv for once, but our shows ended up being at 10:30. Oh, you're not a fan of the 10 block. Did you ever say, oh, thanks for that? Yes, appreciate that support. But, yeah, briefly, just to show it here on the web browser. So over on the YouTube, I guess it's got to be like that. So yeah, if you go on YouTube and you search, what's the easiest way to find it? Digicams for Days. See if that easily shows up. Since I'm logged in, it might be a little different. But if you see the Digicams for Days with that icon there, that's the new channel that I've set up there about photography. So I'm just trying to get those numbers up, and then they kind of snowball and such. And the specialization of the channels is what they the specialization, YouTube wants specialization of the channels. So if that's I'll give that a try, even though I have not actually. Did I ever also mention I've got another one that was kind of stealth in there? And I should set this up right in a moment. I have another YouTube channel that's been there for a little while. See if it's easy to find. The Marvel Minute. So that one's kind of a generic name, so it's not as easy to find. Yep, all these other people are appearing, but yeah, you're not going to find it that way because it's such a generic name. So the channel, you can also go to youtube.com. I think it's youtube.com/at Marvel Minute. At Marvel Minute. Yeah, that's it there. So this is another channel. I've had this one for a little while. And it's just 1 minute long videos on Marvel Comics stuff. It's all focused on Marvel Comics stuff. So that's another one to maybe help that one grow. That one does have 61 subscribers. The Digicam ones has 1. But those are 2 that are focused on a particular topic. So if any of you are interested in any of those topics, you can give those a subscribe. You have TubeBuddy. Not sure how to access the scale thing. Let's see. How do you access it? So you have to make sure you're logged into it and the TubeBuddy account is active. And it's supposed to be kind of automatic. You see the ones that I've been going to, it automatically shows the stats. And then if you do a search, it's supposed to automatically show you the scale of stats to make good videos about. So it's supposed to be automatic. Just make sure that you have the icon, make sure the TubeBuddy's all fully connected to it, and then it gives you all that cool stats right there. So if it's not working, you should contact them on tech support because, yeah, if you have it, it should work. It is useful to help you figure out strategies. But anyway, yep, so if you all could subscribe on a channel or 2 there that I have. The Marvel Minute and Digicams for days. So back to some gameplay. So because I didn't get any of the notifications for Magic today, I was out taking some photos. So I was taking photos with this camera. I'll show it on the full screen in a moment. Let's see about, ooh, there we go. We can set up Tetsuko attacks and then Yargle attacks. And we got Joda, which is also a very good one, and a scary, evil demon cat. Well, as the opponent thinks there, I can show you here on full screen. So check it out. It's one of these, yet another one of these vintage cameras from the 50s. Still has the film inside, but it's just a classic. The meter doesn't work. This is the light meter right here. It doesn't work. Of course, it's from 1957, so it doesn't work anymore. But the manual settings still work, and you can crank it really nicely. It has a side crank over here, which is different than the other types of cameras. So I don't have any cameras that have this sort of side crank like that. That you hit it here. So that's kind of an interesting form factor. I just took the photos today, so I don't know when I'll see them next. After I drop them off at the camera shop. Yeah. There's a million of them out there in the... Ooh, that Kraken. Yep, let's crack them with some Krakens. Sting. All right, well, let's crack them with a Kraken. An 8/8 on turn... Oh, and then another big one. An 8/8 on a turn 3. So... Now they decide to read the cards, and I don't blame you. There's just so many cards out there to 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 understand what they do, that when it's too late, suddenly you have an 8/8 Kraken, and then they're passing. Oops, what are they passing into? That's going to be a trick. And they're like, never mind, okay. I wonder if those pop-ups that appear actually really do very much about, did you have a good time? I hear people say online that you should put the negative, no matter the thing. Like, if you win, but it wasn't a good win, don't put the happy face, because it wasn't a real win. You want to have a long, drawn-out game and such. Or, if you lose, don't put the sad face, but if it was a good game, etc. So, I don't know, on that one that just happened there, they rage quit. Oh, there's some big critters. So this Ornithopter that deals 0 damage is going to be metamorphosed into a 10/10, although Troxel's a little bit better. But now they've got a blocker. Amazing. Okay. But yeah, let's do the Toxrill. Let's do the Toxrill because... Oh, Ulamog. So, this is an embarrassment of riches. I should probably attack with Troxel because that's going to weaken things, although a 10/10 is amazing. And that's going to get big. Fine. So the plan isn't quite going to work. Yeah, it still will, because that'll attack unblocked, and then Toxie. Which will then weaken very nicely. And then after that, we'll attack with a slug. And if they don't block the slug, then we'll hit them with a 10/10. Well, we would have. Because, yeah, this deck can sneak attack them really well. This is actually a very... Overall, this sneak attack deck is very sneaky. And if it just goes according to plan, it can be devastating how it... how it can just sneak in these huge creatures. Did anyone check out the last video? It was a comic book video, but did anyone check out the last video that I just published recently? It was my review of the comic book Gee Whiz, published in 1959, I think. And it is a long-lost relative of Marvel Comics. You gotta watch the video about why. And it's not a Marvel comic, but it's like it's on the family tree of Marvel Comics, vaguely. And it's some classic vintage, late 50s, almost the 60s style of cartoons. And they're like, never mind. They know what the deck is capable of. So like I was saying regarding YouTube, so let me show you some behind the scenes stuff over here. So on my channel, my number one video at the moment is that comic that I was just saying. Compared to the Magic videos, I can show that in a moment. But the comic book videos are... Like, here's on these stats right here, the last Magic video that I did, got 21 views. The last comic book videos that I've done, that one got 120, that one got 57. The one that's comic book that's live right now got 178. The shorts of Magic got 191. So the deck that I took time and effort to make, 10-minute long video, 21 views. The one that's 1 minute long, 191 views. And then the ones of comics that are 10 to 15 minutes long are getting good views. So that's why I feel I have to do a little bit of a pivot at the moment, content-wise, because also, like, it shows my top videos over here. These two videos, which are a little bit more on the naughty side of comics, these two are getting lots of views, and then another comic book video there. So I'm probably going to focus more on comic stuff. I tried to be a variety streamer all of these years, and I'm limping towards 2,000 subscribers, but I'm just going to kind of focus it more on the comic stuff. I'll still do the live Saturday Magic stuff, and I guess I'll still do the shorts and the stuff, but that's just some changes that are coming for... See, no one answered at all my Magic-related poll right there, so the numbers don't lie. And I've been saying it for a little while. I think that I'm a bit burnt out on the Magic stuff, just because it's a runaway train of new material. And if you're going to do a YouTube channel on Magic, you got to... It can't be superficial. It really has to be in-depth videos with lots of research and effort and so forth. And then if you're not one of the big ones already, you might not be worth it to you. So that's just some behind the scenes. That's some behind the scenes stuff there. Yes, thank you. But again, I don't want to rain on my own parade, but it's been hovering at 1900 for a while. And it's so funny because I remember just a few months ago, the stats would say here, you've gained 50 new followers in the last time period. You've gained 40 new followers in the last period. And now it's you've gained 3 followers in the last period. So the algorithm is a constantly changing thing. So I'm trying to change with it a little bit. But the people that have the 20,000 that make this their full-time job, YouTube, it feels like they want you to have this as your full-time job. Well, I want it to be a fun side thing because I've got a day job, but I want to create fun stuff and show it off, not just to be in a vacuum. But then when there's no response at large, it is a challenge. All right, we're going to need this Ornithopter to fix our mana. And then after that, we have Nezahal on deck. Oh, this is fun. Let me tell you all of this. So my brother, I have 2 younger brothers, one that lives here in San Diego and one that lives in Northern California, Chico area, if you know California. So he came to visit and came with his daughter, and they got here on last week on Wednesday, I think. And so then I saw them on Thursday and Friday, or was it Friday and Saturday? I think it was Friday and Saturday. That's why I wasn't able to do Saturday stream last week. And so just a moment, let me just do this epic switcheroo. So anyway, they came over and we played Magic on Friday night, but I just had some basic, um, I had some basic, I had some basic, I had some basic decks, and we had fun and we played. But then one of my brothers said, "Okay, when we play next time, how about you bring some real decks?" Oh, because I had some welcome decks. You know, welcome decks are extremely basic. There's like no instants and sorceries in them. Basically, it's just here's some little creatures and the like. So I said, "Yeah, I'll bring some commander decks." So when I went the next day, that was on that Saturday, I took all my commander decks that I play with at the game store, and those ones they loved those because um, the decks were so something else with all the complexity of the commander decks and just loving the intricacies of the gameplay compared to those intro decks. We played for a long, long, long time, and I was just kind of biding my time on the side while they were doing their thing, and they were beating each other and battling back and forth and politicizing. I was just on the side doing my thing, and no big deal. Eventually, then they said, "Hey, why aren't we attacking Victor?" And then they did bring my life all the way down to, from 40 whatever to tens or whatever. But that was all part of the plan. And 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 so we played a while, and the game didn't end. So my middle brother was playing the mono black deck that you've all seen. That's that Liliana mono black deck with Bolas' Citadel and all that fun stuff. My youngest brother was playing my mono blue Tetsuko deck, the one that's the Jace seafood salad deck. And then and then my niece was playing my mono white cat deck, the equipment one, and I was playing the artifact deck. So everyone was having a fun time with the decks, although having to read the cards because they're way better. They're way more complex than the intro decks. But my niece was making lots and lots and lots of cats, and everyone was saying, "How is she getting so many cats?" And that she had the combo where if one cat, combo piece, when you gain life you make a cat, and another one is when you're holding the equipment you make a cat. So you're just making lots of cats. And then my youngest brother had the Nadir Kraken out that every time you draw a card, you pay a mana, you make a tentacle, and you get a bigger Kraken. So he was making lots of Krakens. And then my middle brother, he had Bolas' Citadel out so he can play cards off of the top of the deck for free with life gain. And then eventually he played Grey Merchant of Asphodel. So they were all playing the decks very, very well. It was a very big challenge. Everyone was evenly matched and the like. And the game didn't end, so we took photos of the gameplay. And then they had to leave for 2 weeks and then coming back again. So it went pretty well. Yeah, it was a fun family visit. Let's toss in a Fleet Swallower. And that's a lot of damage there. I didn't know you can ninjutsu more than one thing in, sure. For no reason. Trograr. Well, anyway, that's a lot of damage. Decided to save the best for last. Usually waiting for the others out is a great strategy. Well, they automatically all kind of know that I'm the target because I'm the archenemy because I know how to play Magic much better than all of them, but they were so wrapped up in their own cards and gameplay and such and what was happening on the battlefield that I was just twiddling my own thumbs and doing my own things of Oswald swapping artifacts and all of that. You need a card that destroys all cards that share a creature type. No cats or krakens. They had board sweepers. So my middle brother, I was giving advice to everyone, and yes, the advice was also about I'm a target and such. You know, I'm not going to be a person that's going to give advice and not point out that I'm a target at a point. I was giving advice to everyone. They don't believe me, but I was, and my middle brother had plague rats. You know, that was a board sweeper right there to get rid of all those krakens and cats. He had plague rats. You know, pay 1 black mana and deal 1 damage to all creatures and players. He had a board wipe there, but my youngest brother thought, "Oh, that's a bad. I got to get rid of that card somehow." They still didn't fully understand that. No, you cannot attack a creature directly. You have to attack the opponent. Then the opponent has to decide to block. Unless you have a planeswalker, then you can attack a planeswalker directly. So my youngest brother was trying to attack my middle brother's plague rats directly, but I told him, don't do that. You know, if you're going to attack, you're not going to be able to attack it directly. You're going to have to attack him, and he will choose to block. But it's a good creature, so he's not going to block with it. But if you attack with your 2 huge creatures, that might be so much damage that he decides to block with the plague rats. So he said, okay, I'll do that. So then when he attacked, and then I told my middle brother, okay, he's attacking you with a lot of damage. You're still at 39 life. You should take the damage. Don't sacrifice those plague rats, because you need those plague rats to do a board wipe for all of these krakens that are adding up. And so he thought about it and wanted to listen, I guess, but maybe didn't fully believe me that I was playing the field for everyone. And he did block with the plague rats. They got killed. And he that board wipe that I was waiting for him to use, because I needed him to wipe everything too, he didn't use it because getting hit with 14 damage was so, you know, for a beginner player, getting hit with 14 damage is such a tragedy. Even though we were playing Commander and he still had like 39 life, he felt that 14 whole damage is way too much. But obviously the play was to not let your plague rats get killed. Pump in the 8 black mana that he had, wipe all those cats, wipe all those tentacles, wipe those krakens. Yes, we all take 8 damage, but it's a long-term game. But that was an early part. That was probably even middle part of the game, and we still went on way further than that. So it was a long like 3-hour, 2-hour game or something, 2 hours or something, and it was everyone had a good time. All right, opponent. That is 3, 4, 5, 6. That's even. Okay. We gotta get rid of that. At least they should have used Ashnod's Altar. Now they're good gaming me. Okay. Fine, if your deck is a glass cannon. All right, so I have been playing a little while, 1 hour exactly. Okay. I'm going to do a little pause, get a beverage. We'll play some more, maybe show some photos as well. I'll pull up the photos. Yeah, Gabe and Steve, let me pull up the photos that I when we all got together and took photos. Let me show us a few of those photos that I took on that day. So, and we'll play Magic also. But let's take. It doesn't feel like an hour. Yeah, but my timer right now says 1 hour and 36 seconds. So yeah, let's take a little break, and we'll keep playing and the like. Remind me when we get back. I'll show some of those photos from our photo get together. All right, everyone, we're back. So the beverage of choice is just a pre-made canned vodka mule, which is vodka, ginger, lemonade. I think that was. I could do without the ginger. Um, Overall, it's a good flavor. I'm not a, and in general, what about all of you? I'm not a big fan of ginger, except for the one on Gilligan's Island. But in my food and such, I'm not a big fan of ginger flavors. All right, so let's do this for a bit. I'm going to pull up some of those photos for a little bit, and we'll get back to the gameplay. And I have them over here. I just need to remember what. We do this again. We go over to the right screen. Is that it? Okay, sure. And then over here. So, The the photo shoot. What was the day? What were those days? Because I've got these all organized by camera. Um, organized by camera and then date. So what day was that day that we all met up for all of this? The 15th? Yeah, here he goes. Yeah, so May 15th, I believe. May 15th, and that was on the Auto S2, but I did it on... okay, so I'll show these first ones over here. So on the Fuji GS645S, when we met up on the 15th, May 15th. Okay, so Mark, when you come and visit California, then we've all got to go out on a magic, of course, but then a photo walk. And so a month ago, or on the 15th of May, myself, Stevie, and Gabe and Karen went out to my old hometown of Imperial Beach, but Gabe currently lives there. And so we took some photos, and here's the photos over here. Now, with my camera, I had two different cameras, but with my camera, well, I have it right here. Let me just get it right here. So my camera was this one. I was with a film camera. Stevie, I think you had a digital camera, and Gabe, you had a film camera too. So according to yours, May 12th. That probably is right. I don't doubt I have the date wrong. So if your camera did say that date, then it's probably right. But I had, because I was making notes manually and I didn't rely on the app. So I had this camera. This is the Fuji GS645S. I think it's from around 1987 or something. So it's an 80s camera. And it's medium format, so it's larger than the regular negatives, right? These are the classic 35 millimeter negatives. This is a medium format, so it's like at least twice the size, maybe 3 times the size of the negative. So the negative's a lot larger. Although on film, you get 36 shots. On this, you get 16. So you better make them count. So that's the camera that I had on that day that we were all there. And here's the results. Now, I did have, purposefully, I was using expired film. So, on first glance, here's how my negatives came out. Right here, very faded. Oops, actually, other screen right here. Very faded out colors. And oh, I remember I was using slide film that day. So these are very, very faded. After I did some Photoshop work on it, then you can kind of see them, but the colors are still very, 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 very faded. They're still better than they were straight out of the negative. And this is with a little Photoshop touch-up. I could still go in and do more and bring up the colors and stuff. So, okay, yeah, on the 12th was the other, that was with Catherine then. So then if the week later or whatever is when we did the three of us there. So here's one, this is the first shot when we all got together. So there's just a little school bus coming at us. Clarity-wise and sharpness and the like, I like how they came out. Color-wise, the film was old. I don't remember how old it was, but it was at least 15 years old, maybe 20 years old. So the color's very faded. And so this is me after trying to do a little bit to bring the color back to life, compared to when as soon as you scan the negative, it looked like that. So obviously the color's very dead, and the black is shifting to reds and all of that. So it was old film. It still captured an image, but the color shifts were really, really bad. If you convert it to black and white, you don't see nothing's wrong with it. But anyway, so there's a school bus going down the main lane. It's a one it's a 2-lane street, so traffic backs up. Then over here, nothing special on that one, but that's when we stopped at that intersection and I started to look straight ahead over there. So the whole shot like that, nothing too interesting, but if you kind of crop it maybe like that, maybe it's a slightly better composition. That's good old Palm Avenue. I grew up around these neighborhoods here, and Palm Avenue is the big street that was the main street. So you were saying yours look the same. Haven't really determined whether anything came out. Yeah, you have to check it with a light source. So when we meet up next time, show me, because it's very odd that they gave them to you in slides, but it wasn't slide film to my knowledge. So here's a vintage. I'm sure that building's been there since the 60s, and that sign as well. AB Bright Cleaners. This sign looks a little. The sign here looks a little newer, but the sign up here looks like it hasn't been touched since the 60s. Look at how that's falling apart on that corner. They're all rusty. That's the thing people are going to see. They're also going to see that there, but why don't you invest a little time in also that? And it looks like that also maybe also had a flag there, but now that pole is nothing, and the cable. So there is a cleaner. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, the cleaners was the one that we thought was the thrift store, and then next to it was the laundromat or the laundrette, and got that shot there. Imperial Beach is by the beach, and it's a surf town, and so there's this sculpture. I think it's literally called The Surfer, and so it's a rather abstract sculpture, but we've got this wave. It's all stainless steel, I guess. We've got this wave, like a beach wave, ocean wave, and then a surfer in between. The shot didn't come out as nice as I would like, although the 3 palm trees in the back are interesting, but then the sculpture itself gets lost in the background of the palm tree plus the light pole plus the shrubbery, so it kind of gets lost. I should have paid attention a little bit better where the composition lay versus the background. You call that statue abstract? Yep, I think it's an abstract type of statue because it's see how those curves of the waves are coming together, and I don't have a closer shot of the actual surfer, but the surfer is also abstract. Easy. How do you get a surfer? Easy. There's the surfboard right there. There's a figure standing vertically right there, and then there's the waves of the Pacific Ocean right there. And then yeah, it's a surfer. It's very abstract, but that's what I believe that's the name of the sculpture, and that might not be the name of the sculpture, but I believe that's what the point of the sculpture was, that it is an abstract surfer dude. And so there's our proud mosaic. It looks like a destroyed wind turbine. Yeah, it was trying to generate all the electricity, and the tsunami hit it, and it didn't make it. So we've got there in the town there the proud town mosaic, which proudly proclaims Imperial Beach the most southwesterly city in the continental United States. So if you stay within the continent of North America, the land mass of North America, Imperial Beach is the most southwestern point in the continental U.S. If you then go off to the various other regions and territories of the U.S., then Hawaii is further south and west. And that mosaic, it's got a also somewhat abstract sailboat, because you see the sails, but not the boat, unless the boat is behind those sails. You got the trident Neptune's trident, I suppose, and maybe some sort of ship's lantern or something. The blue and the yellow, I think, has some meaning, unless it's just sea and sun. And so that's a relatively large circular design, mosaic. That's been there a long, long, long time. Hey, who's that famous photographer right there? Taking a shot, a Pulitzer Prize winning shot. I bet you didn't see that I took a shot when you were taking a shot, huh? Yeah. And so that landmark is the Stardust Donuts donut shop, which 90% of the time it's closed because the owners are. Do you all remember? Did you ever watch Seinfeld? And there was that character, the soup Nazi, who was very picky about his soup establishment. And if you get him mad, he'd yell at you, "No soup for you." And he had the most amazing soup in the whole town, I guess. And people would put up with his shenanigans. So that donut shop is very similar to that in that their times that they're open are extremely limited. If you haven't been there by noon, they're closed. If you haven't gotten your donuts by the time they opened, which is either 7:30 a.m. or 8 a.m., they're gone. If you don't have cash, no donuts for you. And they've been around 30 years or more. When I grew up there, we would try to get there, and the line was out the door and such, and they're still there. And then, of course, closed at the time that we went. Insist on the best. After all, it takes something, something. Hot coffee, donuts. And then we've got Stevie taking a photo of the place. So, yeah. Then I took my own photo. And they're investing more of their time on the actual donuts to fix up their vintage sign, which nowadays says Fesh Nuts. And it'd be hilarious if at one point it did actually, if the R was still there. And you're a morning person, then you'd be there right at the time when they're open at 7:30 and 8 and such, or simply because of the good flavors and such. As I haven't been there, I haven't had a donut from there in a while, like maybe 10 years. And I don't think I'll be awake at the time that they are open. I can't read. Let me look at my negative, actually. What does that say? Because I can't read. This is just the JPEG. But on my original negative, number 8. Oh, I got to open that in Photoshop, but I won't do that just yet. So even there, I can't really read it. But I think that's saying what time it's open. But anyway, so that's the original negative. And then with a little Photoshoppery, it does bring it back to life a bit. Obviously, the colors are a little bit more bright. It was also a very overcast day. Remember when we all went? It was kind of gloomy and overcast. So some of these colors are also a little muted. But they can still be played with a little bit in Photoshop. So they have here closed, closed, and then the open sign is not open. You're going to show up at 7 a.m. one day just to be there, to beat the crowds, yeah. I think they're only open 5 days a week, so I don't know which of the days that they're not open. And it's interesting. How did they stay in business? What's the rent on the plot of land? They're not exactly like an official landmark that they're protected by the mayor, but how do they stay in business if their hours are so limited? The prices aren't really exorbitant. Everything's in cash, no credit cards and such. And how do they stay in business? Next up, not a very interesting shot there, but that's just some of that architecture of that building. On that plot of land 35 years ago, there used to be a a smaller sort of mom and pop shop series of stores, and on that plot of land there used to be this movie theater called Studio 3. Was it Studio 3? Yeah, it was Studio 3. So there used to be a movie theater called Studio 3, and there were three screens. And I remember watching The Lion King there. I remember watching Jurassic Park there, and I'm sure plenty other ones. But it was a small theater. I saw a lot of the movies back in the late 80s, early 90s. Eventually, all of those shops, that whole plot of land was razed, and then they put a bunch of new things there. So, Jersey Mike's, seafood place, and such. And the architecture's a little more modern than what it was previously. Yep, there was the Studio 3 cinema, and in my memory, it was great, but if I were to look at it now, it'd probably be smaller than I remember, because, again, I'm pretty sure I saw Jurassic Park. Which was the Jurassic Park where they came to San Diego? That was part two or part three? It was part two, right? Where the dinosaur escaped in San Diego. So, with my youngest brother, we make fun of him. Me and my middle brother make fun of him, uh, in that we gaslight him and we tell him, yeah, when all three of us went to go watch Jurassic Park 2, you were so young. And when we went to see it, and when they said San Diego, when the T-Rex escaped in San Diego, and when you heard San Diego, you freaked out and said, yeah, San Diego, and you started running up and down the aisles. And he believes us now. We've told that lie to him so many years that I'm sure he believes us now. But no, he never did that. But that was, the gaslighting that we used to do to my youngest brother. Yeah, the Jurassic Park was crazy. Always think the T-Rex will show up in front of your window one day. You saw the first Jurassic Park at Horton Plaza. R.I.P. Horton Plaza. Another shot, not interesting, but just the corner there. This is the corner of Palm Avenue and 9th Avenue. Yeah, how times change. That used to be, at that corner, there used to be an old drugstore. I don't remember its name anymore, but there was an old drugstore. It was big. We never went there for any reason at all, but I remember it was always there. And then there was just a row after row of small little independent shops going all the way to the end to the whole block. And then some years ago, they tore it all down and put everything new. So I gotta look on my old family photos if we still have photos of that, but I doubt it. I think my family never took photos. They only took photos of people and weddings and stuff like that. They would have never taken photos like this of what? Nothing. Yeah, it's a memory. So when 50 years from now I look back and I'm like, yeah, Palm Avenue, grocery outlet, the bargain market. Remember your first Jurassic Park movie? You saw the second one where the velociraptors ate the little girl at the beach. Yeah, that was vicious. You kind of have to think about how Jurassic Park's this Spielberg movie, and Spielberg really, really got filed down his edges after Jaws and all of that, but he still did some out there stuff on some of those Jurassic Park movies about eating kids and stuff. Favorite shop now these days, and you're the usual shoppers there. Do they know you now when they walk in? Do they high five you because they know you? Just a stop sign. Just a stop sign. That's kind of faded colors. Again, it was a very overcast day, so nothing too interesting. On this one, they had on their some real hometown pride. They've got the town initials there on their fence. With very big numbers to let the mailman know that this is 1007. 1007 9th Street. Don't you forget it. Imperial Beach Boulevard. So there's two main roads that go east and west. Palm Avenue on the north side of town, and then Imperial Beach Boulevard on the south side of town. So we're at the intersection there. And this is not too common. I don't know for the reason also. Why do they put this yellow around these stoplights? Everywhere else, the stoplights are normal black, but there's a couple of places on that street that they're yellow. They have a yellow outline for more visibility? I don't know. So that's looking southward. At the end of that street is a naval base. Imperial Beach, or all of San Diego, is a bit of a military town, specifically the Navy. We have various ports here, and in Imperial Beach, they have at the end of the town a smaller military base, a naval base, I believe, and down that street it is. Got our palm trees. So this came out a little bit gloomier and scarier than it should have, but here's a shot of a church. And yeah, that day was very, very gloomy, overcast, so these shots are kind of underexposed. Plus the film was old, and therefore the image is very grainy because underexposed. And I think this is the last shot. So this is the moment when, do you remember, Gabe? I took out like a little binocular kind of thing and I was using it and you said, oh, is that a mini camera? No, that was to be able to get my focus. So I was at that spot right there. And the park, we went into the park there, right, where someone was flying the drone, and the police station on and the mayor's office on the left. So this was the last shot. This is looking west, and the wildlife viewing area straight ahead there over at the estuary. So that was the last shot. 15 shots on this camera. The exposure came out nice. The sharpness came out nice. The colors came out very faded because the negatives were old. But I got those 15 shots, and some were pretty nice, and others were a bit pedestrian, but I was just practicing with that camera. And I have another set of photos for later. We'll get back to some gameplay here, but those were the shots of one of the cameras that I took on that day. 15 shots. The original negatives, I can still go back in and further edit them. I was shooting slide film, so on the negatives they're correct colors. But as soon as I got the negatives and I looked at them in the light, I'm like, wow, these came out horrible. But then after scanning them and playing with them in Photoshop, I was able to get some very muted colors. This is after some work. This is very muted colors. But in black and white, they look very nice. Those faded colors. Maybe Gabe, on your photos too, if we all get together at some point, play Magic, whatever, and maybe I can look at a few of those photos, and then on some of them, maybe if they kind of look cool, maybe I can scan them, and then we can see what they would look like. The best shots are your favorite shots. But those are my shots there, so let's get back to some gameplay. What do y'all think? However, before that, what do y'all think? Which does it look like an idyllic beach town? Do you want to go to those donuts? I want some donuts, but they're never open. So I had two cameras on that day. Whoops, where's the game? Where's the game? Oh, Okay. Anyway, I took 2 cameras that day, and what was the other camera? This Konica. Okay, so I'll pull up those photos a little later. That was a 35 millimeter camera. So I haven't played this deck in a while. This is the Ugin deck, the colorless deck, which I don't think ever really wins because it's colorless and that's hard to play. I like seeing places from around the world. Yes, thanks, and you're welcome. I have a few others to show a little bit later, and that's a way to travel without... That's a way to travel in the comfort of your own home. Well, thanks for milling all of my lands. So that's 6 mana, I guess. If I get 1 more mana. Then we got Ugin on deck. Well, Gabe, that question that you ask there isn't visible on YouTube, so Mark may or may not see it, because it doesn't show up on YouTube, but maybe he'll see it and answer. All right, here we go. We're going to get big bad Ugin, so we're playing some sort of mill deck, but now I've got my pieces on the battlefield.
Secrets manifest before you.
So they've got some self-mill. They've got some self-mill stuff happening too. Anyway, I'm about to play Portal to Phyrexia. Mill 2 cards, put a permanent from them into your hand. Alright, what are you going to get back? Lots to choose from. I guess the altar. No, they're going to get the mind. No, nothing really good to permanents. Oh, they're just going to mill there, I guess. Who cares? Alright, well, my deck's got a lot of value at the moment. So let's see if they can pull back from this. They have all the colors they need, and they can bring Muldrotha out, but I can deal with that. They have their battle, which is... you may have Lazatev Converter enter as a copy of a creature in your graveyard. Destroy... Okay, they're going to destroy all Planeswalkers. We have plenty of stuff on the battlefield. They'll bring back something. Okay, they destroyed all creatures, not Planeswalkers. Okay, fine. I still get to get stuff with my portal to Pyrexia, but that's fine. So what should we steal here? Let's bring out this Crabbo. And now how do you like it? Ha ha. Then we'll also do a city leveler, although it doesn't deal with target up to one non-land permanent. Yeah, let's destroy your own stupid battle thing here. And then we'll bring out one of these. And one of these, and we'll just cash out our whole hand. Guess I can destroy stuff and bring that metal guy back to my hand. Not yet. Destroy all non-dragon creatures. Fine. Bring stuff back to my hand, but then my portal will just keep bringing it back. Let me point to it one more time. A poor 0-4.
Ether itself serves me.
Well, I haven't played this Ugin deck in a little while, but it does stuff, which is pretty fun. Although it helps that the opponent hasn't been doing too much themselves. They've been destroying all my stuff, but I guess it doesn't quite matter. Muldrotha, you'll be able to play a land. But what about anything else? Probably Ruin Crab. They're going to mill me, who cares? Yeah, wow, obvious player is obvious. So let's get rid of 1, 2, and 3. Sacrifice, only sacrifice only 2. Okay, that's fine. Bring that 0 casting cost. And then steal a free thing out of any graveyard. How about a Sundering Titan? Oh, choose a land of each type. Wow, devastating.
Bathe in ghost fire.
And then we got a 10/10 critter right there. And then this side. That's kind of a lot. Yes, it is kind of a lot. Yeah, we got to get together with another fanboy get-together. Or another IB get-together. We could do that Novo Brazil again. That was pretty cool. Getting together to Nosh there was nice. All right, turn 1 play, turn 2 play, and eventually I'm trying to get to this turn 8 play. But I'm ramping. They're ramping as well. I feel like I need to put more mana rocks in this deck. One, two, three, And 4 and 5. 5th mana, I can play that. What does that do again? Either draw cards or kill a thing. Probably want to kill that. Although they're going to have enough next turn. And then we get a little guy there. Okay. So, do not pay that. Which is the most... Whenever you cast a non-creature, put an oil counter on this. As long as it's got oil, it gets big. And then that one makes stuff. So, let's get rid of that. And that gives me all the mana that I need for an Ugin next turn. If they tap out, that'd be nice. So let's draw a card off of that. Alright, so if they tap out next turn, that would be good. Although that is 6 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's 5 mana. Alright, so yeah, they're going to tap out with Leer. That's fine. Then I got Ugin. Although Leer probably is pretty good. Rummy.
Do not defy the designs of an elder dragon. Secrets manifest before you.
They've got their Niv Mizzet on the battlefield. Attack all into Ugin. Ugin will kill Niv. So, not so bad.
I can create or destroy.
And we'll get out a Worm Coil Engine. And how about a Pardic Wanderer? And how about a card draw? And they're like, nope. I must have made a version. I remember a while ago I made a version of this colorless Ugin deck, and it didn't really feel like it did much. And I must have made a new version after Brothers War or something, because it looks like I put a lot of artifact creatures in there. So kudos to me that I completely forgot about that deck. Sorting dinner. What's on the menu for dinner? Well, I don't want to interrupt you if you're doing dinner, but tell us when you're done later. But anyway, the this deck at some point, I must have put it together pretty well. Can we put more mana rocks in there? Let's see. Cold Steel Heart, Guardian Idol, Guild Globe. Probably take out some of those 2 mana things and put more mana rocks. No, it looks like I put a bunch of the mana rocks in there, so I guess we're good with mana. Yeah, I think the deck's fine that way. Play it a little bit more. -0 is the opponent. We got a mono green deck here. That'll be annoying. But we have some ramp, so that's good. Ooh, no turn 1 Llanowar Elf. I weep for you. Turn 2 Idle, then turn 3, no turn 2 play on a mono green deck. Wow, okay. Well, they're going to be right on curve for their commander. Then I will bring out all my huge mana here. That's got reach. Bring out this Sleeper Dart. So I have Ugin on the battlefield, but what else does this do? Reach. Whenever you cast a spell that targets this, put a +1 on it. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you don't control, this deals damage to the one target creature. That's interesting. They're passing with 3 green mana. Of course, that's the hexproof. Of course, that's the hexproof green spell. Yep, pausing priority for all those hexproof. That could be the Flash Wolf that people don't play anymore. But what do we do here? So, dungeon map, fountain. All right, opponent, so what are you going to do now? So this deck's all about targeting yourself or targeting your opponent's creatures. It's all a creature-based thing. So what are you doing? Well, that's enough to kill Ugin there. It's got trample, so okay. One more thing. That will be enough to wipe stuff out. So yep, that's gonna wipe out Ugin. But I should have enough to resummon it. There's that hexproof just like I said. But then they tap out. Oh, they didn't have trample. Okay. Oh, I did have trample. Okay, that's fine. Then Ugin comes back. Sound and fury signifying nothing. So my timer says 1 hour 48 minutes. So now we're coming up to the second hour of the stream. So we'll play maybe 1 or 2 more. Then I'll show a couple more photos from that same day. But this deck's doing better than I thought. Oh, that's funny. That little creature was digging deep. All right, turn 2 golden egg. Do I have any turn 2 mana rock? Nope, at least they don't have any turn 2 mana rock as well. You don't counter spell my golden egg. So they probably had a counter spell and they're like, never mind. Okay. Okay. Okay, we'll play one more because we'll have it be a real match. Then we'll show photos. No, I don't like snakes at all, so don't know any Python. Just kidding. I know it's the programming language. No, I don't know any Python. It is very popular. It's like the number 2 popular language at the moment. So if you ever learn it, it's good. whenever it pauses for priority in a green deck, it's always going to be the hexproof thing, probably. And they've been printing more of those. I remember when it was the first thing, the first printing of some green spell that gave you hexproof. It was such a big deal, and now they just do it so much more commonly.
I came into being long before your kind ever existed.
Oh, you got stuck on a bug.
Truth lies beyond vision.
Yeah, I'm not I don't do Python, but I have experience in other programming languages, and with these programming languages, there's a lot of logic that happens. So maybe I could still look at the code and maybe logic-wise, if I don't know the command and such, maybe still I would understand it in terms of the logic of things. Yeah, so that green, so it's definitely that green protection spell because it's pausing, or maybe a fight spell? What are they doing?
My plans do not include you.
I'm getting so much mana. Yeah, I'm getting so much mana. Anyway, what does this do? Black Market Tycoon. At the beginning of your upkeep, Black Market deals 2 damage to you. 2 damage to you for each treasure you control and create a treasure. Okay. Alright, so we got Ajani on the battlefield. Sure, but you need blockers. Torrens, that's a good one.
Now do you see the benefits of peace?
3 mana, pausing for 0 mana, 3 cards in hand, pausing, and then another land. Wow, what is going on with my deck? So they're not going to block, but I'll make my own blockers.
Ether itself serves me.
Okay, Torrens is a little bit better for you to keep, but sure.
I will not prevail.
All right, they're just going to create lots of treasure, sure. Sigarda. All right, so here's the idea. I will -3 Ugin to take out Ajani, easily recast Ugin, and then -3 to take out Sigarda.
Light shall always conquer darkness.
Hopefully they tap out. All right, fine. Looking at their graveyard, I suppose. Gaia's Blessing. There we go. Alright, so here's my strategies right here. So Ugin -3 to take out that Planeswalker, because that's just gonna gum up the works. And then easily recast that. Get rid of that. Bring out this monument, and suddenly everything is huge. Eight damage, which they'll take. And they'll have 3 attackers. They'll go after Ugin. That's fine. No, they will take 1. Okay, that's fine. I got 2 attackers. Damage. Nope. Creating a game sounds very challenging. It is, yeah. Alright, so you got 2 attackers. They'll both go at Ugin. Nope, they're going to do 1 at Ugin. Huh. They've still been pausing for priority. They're going to eat that up with 1 red for torching my goblin and hit it with the fine. Give him the old, who cares? Oh, and they didn't attack. Okay. Fine. What can we do here? How about a venture? Draw a card. Make a critter. Have 1 blocker, but then a stealth blocker that can appear. Yeah, that black market guy. This is a powerhouse of mana. Ooh, a Teferi. Gotta get rid of that. Three mana left. This is the weakened Teferi because it was just too good. Your opponent can't cast spells during your turn. Until your next turn, you may cast sorceries as though you had flash. Return up to 1, whatever. Opt. Do the scry again. Alright, let's see if they don't notice that my land can come to life. They're looking at everything. Don't look at my lands. Don't look at my lands. Return up to 1 target artifact. Okay, sure. Not a big deal.
Might be a bad idea.
Gretchen. +4 until end of turn, but then you tap out. Sure. That can come to life as a 3/3. But it's got summon sickness, so nothing happens at all. Sure. Now we are starting to gum up the board here. Okay.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2. The fabric of the multiverse obeys me.
I might need to shave off a few lands out of this deck. Or is that just bias that on the last game I was getting so much mana? Well, what's the opponent up to? Because they have a lot of mana, but do they have good cards in hand? They're just kind of durdling around a little bit. That's got flash. Everything's got flash, I guess. Give something +4, sure. If you don't kill that Ugin, well, they're gonna hit it in the air anyway. So I guess I should let them. I guess I should let them kill the Ugin. I can easily recast it. Crack a treasure for blue. But you can't. You should undo that because you can't do anything with that blue. And they ate it. Okay, they ate a treasure. Okay. Yeah, it's going back and forth. So you're going to hit him in the air. You're going to attack there. That's fine. All right, that's perfectly fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. To bring this to life.
I shall withdraw from this petty squabbling.
10 mana Ugin, I can do that.
Curiosity and wonder drive civilization. Truth lies beyond vision.
Let there be light. All right, well, we'll end that on a victory. I think I've been on a pretty good run of wins. That's surprising. I must have made... I still have it in my mind that this was my old Ugin deck that didn't really seem to do very well. And then I guess after the Brothers' War, or one of those artifact sets, I guess I remade it and forgot about it. But it's got a good run. All right, let's switch over to show a few more photos. Let me pull up a few more photos over here. On that day, I also had another camera. It's over there. The other photos were on my Konica Auto S2. Thanks. So we were, was it the V3? Yeah, 515. Okay, so here's another. On that day, I was just trying out old film, and some old film still works well, and others, it fades and degrades, and who knows how it was stored. So the one that I showed a moment ago, that was 120 format film, large negatives, but limited. It was only 15 shots. So on this one, I shot regular 35mm, so it is 30 shots or whatever. I don't know if it'll show every shot, but this was also old film. And overall, the colors are also a little weird because it's old film, but let me just organize it this way. So this film was negatives compared to the others that was slide, so it is negatives. But then when they become positives, so here's some shots. The very first shot over here, this is my kitchen and my coffee area. That's the first shot there. But in my coffee area, did I tell you all when the pandemic hit and we all got in lockdowns and so forth, everyone got a hobby, and the hobby that I got was coffee. I was never really a coffee drinker growing up, and then in 2020, so how old was I in 2020? Let's see, 8, 9, 10, I guess I was 42. So it wasn't really until I was 42 that I got into coffee, and it was in 2020, pandemic time, so that whole corner is coffee grinders and powdered sugars and like 5 different coffee brewing techniques and stuff. So it's half a photo, but that's my coffee corner. This is looking out my window. Actually, I don't really want to show that because it's got my street address. We don't need to record that on the stream, but that's my corner of my buildings. All right, so this is after I took those other photos with Gabe and Stevie and Karen, I ran out of those 15 shots. So then I switched over to this 35 millimeter camera. It's also another vintage camera from the 60s. And on the last shot that I showed of that sign, there was a park right next door. So then we went to the park. This is Veterans Park, and it's got this classic 60s beach culture vehicle. I'm not a big car person, so I don't know exactly the name of it, but it's the wood paneled vehicle with the white wall tires, surfboard, and one of our landmarks, the Imperial Beach Pier, and our national bird, the seagull. So, not national bird, that would be the bald eagle. The local bird, the seagull. So, here's a monument. Just in your face library. Yeah, that's it. That's a Woody. That's the name of it. I was trying to remember its name, but it's a Woody. An old school Woody wagon. Woody wagon or just a Woody? Whatever they were, because they had the wood paneling, right? And so, in your face library, read here. These negatives also had way too many little dusts and such. You can clean them off and rescan them. All of these photos, all of these negatives, the way I have them, the Photoshop do it, the way I have them do it is just process the negative, right? Run the chemicals and so forth, and then give me the negatives themselves. Then I scan it myself, and then process it in Photoshop and such to my liking. But I've been noticing that it feels like recently the negatives have a little too much dust and grime on them, and it shows here on all of these little specks. Again, it was old film, and if I go back to it and further edit it, I could probably pull the true colors out of it, but these colors got very, very red. That's that library, one of its corners. It's an eclectic building. I don't think I got a shot of the whole building, but on one side it's got some sort of normal stucco. In another shot it's got these wood brick pattern. Oh, remember that one? Stevie, the little dog sculpture. What was the name of it? Chopper? Yeah, the Chopper was its name. And so this was a famous dog that did stuff, I guess. And a very nice sculpture in the park there. So there's a park, there's the library, there's a YMCA in the environs there, and there's the Veterans Monument, there's the dog monument. They did a good job with the fur. Look at how the harness also affects the dog fur, and this is in bronze, right? But they did a very good job of a very realistically rendered doggy. The colors of this on this old film definitely got shifted in the light, because that green looks way too toxic than what it was in real life. It looks almost spray painted. So this is what happens when you use old film, but you might get some interesting results. And then you hanging out with friends and taking photos. That's part of what's the whole journey of it. There's a very cool, what's this called? Not gazebo. Is it an amphitheater? What is the name of this type of structure that is a stage? It has an oculus type of roof or awning or something. I'm sure that's got a specific name, but let's just say it's a stage. It's just a very nice stage area. So I'm sure everything's got a name. I'm sure this has got some sort of official name. But the construction of it is perfect in that it is this circular stage with the oculus. I've never been there when anyone is actually doing any performing or speechifying or anything. And sometimes I just see kids run around on it, so I don't know if it ever gets used for its intended purpose. Oh, this is when we saw some ducks. So across the street there were some ducks claiming their territory versus a pigeon. So I don't know if one's a boy duck, one's a girl duck. I don't know if they actually are like that or just two different species with the colors and so forth. I'm sure it was used for performing. I'm sure it's still used nowadays, not just in the past, but when I'm there, there's never any performance. We were there on a Friday, right? So maybe on a Saturday is when they actually perform. These are the JPEGs that have been fully edited, but the original negatives have even more detail. I'm not going to reverse them at the moment, but you have even more detail of the scene. Is it wrong that you see ducks and think free food? Well, if you catch them, if you can catch them and you have a good marinade. However, is pigeon on the menu as well? Or is that too much of a gamey bird or stringy? So there's that shot. There's some construction going on there. Again, these colors look very neon. They weren't that strong in real life. These negatives just, the colors just shifted in weird ways. And so these markers are just radioactive. If this were cropped a little bit more, because it's sort of empty-ish on the left and a little bit more on the right. So if it's cropped a little bit more where that left, there's not so much on the left, it would be a little bit of a better image. But you have the classic, you can tell it's an older town because you've got all of those overhead electrical cables that you don't see on newer parts of town. But there's and then someone hasn't been keeping up their garden very well, just letting Mother Nature run rampant. Yeah, hunger is the best seasoning. Oh, this is that confusing street that it says one way to the left, but two ways to the right. So right in the middle here, I don't know at what specific millimeter in the road this street goes from a one-way street to a two-way street somewhere. So so who knows what is the exact definition or designation of that becoming a two-way street, but it's one way, one part of it. Yeah, that is a Cowboy Bebop line, isn't it? I'm sure it existed before the series, but that's that one's in my mind. The two-way street was really odd. We used those cones for bicycle jousting when we were younger. That'll work because you're not going to really get hurt, and you will see definitely that you hit the opponent. So just wander off to some construction site and borrow them for a bit, nick them, and then bring them back. So anyway, that's the two-way street there. Neighborhood Watch program in force. So taking that street, going to the left, then at the end of the street is there. So then there's a no left turn there. So that corner of the town has these weird one-way streets that in the beginning, I'm sure they just had the signs and then you figure it out. But nowadays with more population or confusion, now you have to be very overt about it. So you have the don't turn left. And then to really reinforce it, they have the things in the way about don't turn left, which these are also beat up. So I'm sure people have turned left. So right turn only. Yeah, these signs are just neon green, and they were not that green in real life, of course, but this film is just poor old film um, that got a little beat up. Okay, so this street straight ahead there, that's Elm Avenue. And if you go a couple blocks down to the left are a couple of schools. One of them, I believe, is an elementary school, and the other is Mar Vista High School, which is where I went in high school. And so that was on Elm Street, and we would say, of course, Nightmare on Elm Street. All right, thanks for stopping by, Stevie. You're going to miss the photos, but yeah, we'll see next time. We'll get together again next time. Nothing too interesting here. What did I take here for? There's nothing of a main shot. Why did I take that photo? All right, so then we went to the end of the street, and then we looped back where we started from. And just pause one thing here. Yes, good point on the sound. I said a little bit. I was also dictating a voice. I muted myself for a moment because I was dictating a message rather than typing it. I was dictating a message in my app. Then I forgot to turn it back on. So all I was really saying was we came back. This is the starting point. We did this big loop that I took photos with the first camera, then looped back, and we're kind of at the end of things. Previous shot over here. This is where the park was, where that destroyed wind turbine was at, over here at the left. And over here is where the most southwesterly mosaic is at. So we did a big loop. And 7th Street, actually, So following 7th Street on, northward for a couple blocks, that's where I grew up, my old house there, at the corner of 7th and Cherry. And then we have a bike route, then the eco route, and we come back where we all met up in originally. We have these leading lines. This is also what the youngsters would call a liminal space. I've been seeing that more and more with online culture, talking about liminal spaces. Do you know what a liminal space is? You might have heard of the word subliminal, but have any of you heard of liminal or liminal spaces specifically? This is a sort of an internet meme thing or an internet culture thing, an internet topic thing at the moment. Liminal spaces. So I would say this is a liminal space. And then lastly, that's the last shot there. So just a back alley of the our bike lanes. Now this is the one, though, again, my film is kind of old, so the colors might be slightly off, but they were green. These lanes are green, and I don't know if the lane is the green part, and then there's a buffer to protect, and then the road. But these are designated for bike. That town is trying to add a bit more bikeability, which is good. And then we end the final shot here. We end the final shot here, and then we get back to the parking lot and we end the trip. So myself, Stevie, Gabe, and Karen met up to take these photos, and then we wrapped it up. On the other side, there's the pizza shop. At the end of the street, there's the pizza shop we met up at. So I had not finished that roll of film. So on another day, I took the last photos. This is 19 shots here. So I took the final last shots. I went over to Coronado. Coronado is the town north of Imperial Beach, and it's one of the rich areas of the county. So Imperial Beach is middle class, but Coronado, it's at the end of a peninsula. So Mark, let me show you this because the others know this, but for those of you visiting on the stream from not San Diego, this is how it's like this. So all of these photos were taken right here in Imperial Beach. I live over here inland somewhere, but then I grew up here in Imperial Beach. So we were basically we were at right here at the corner of this street right here, Rancho Drive. We went up the street over here over to 9th Avenue here. Then we went south here to this park when we were at the park down here. Then we came back up north through those one-way streets and stuff and came back. So it was kind of a loop, kind of a circular loop around here. Couple kilometers, not so much. So then we got back to the pizza shop right there on that corner. So I grew up, the sign that we were looking at is, I think, right around there. So that's 7th Street right there. The donut shop is right here on that corner there. Stardust Donut right there. So north, down the street on 7th Street, you go up a few blocks, 3 blocks, I guess, you get to Cherry Avenue right there. That's where I grew up, at the corner of 7th and Cherry, right there, 503 7th Street. What does that look like with a satellite view? Yep, so right on that corner, that was our house. This corner right here. I was there 35 years ago. So the 4 of us met up for some photos, and I was saying I didn't run out of film, So on another day, on my own, I went over to Coronado. Now, zooming out here, so I grew up right here in Imperial Beach, Palm Avenue there. You follow this highway, the 75. It goes through this nature preserve and such. You get through in, not an isthmus. Is that an isthmus? Peninsula? What's the difference? But you go through that, they call it Silver Strand. You get through that thin bit of land mass, and then you get here to Coronado, which is technically a peninsula, although everyone calls it the island. Obviously, it is connected to land. And so, zooming out much, much, much further like that, if you ever look at maps of the U.S., there's the U.S., and then in the very, very, very corner that we are here, if you look at a big old map of the U.S., you look at a big old map of California, you see the bay over here, San Francisco. It's very big land mass. But we've got a little land mass over here if you ever zoom in. So if you look at San Diego County, that big or so, we have this little interesting land mass with the peninsula that is kind of then being overstretched by Point Loma. And then we've got the Mission Bay area. So I grew up in this corner here in IB. And up in the north was where the rich people were. So Coronado. And I live over here. Actually, just one moment. Let me open the window. The cat decided that he wants to be at the window. I don't want him to destroy the curtains. So let me open the window for him. Actually, let's put him on the stream for a moment. Can I get... Oh, before he jumps out of my hands, come on, let's go to the big screen. Where's the big screen? Full screen, where's the full screen? There we go. Let's put him on the stream for a moment. He's already jumping out of my hands. He's a wild animal. I remember when he first appeared on the screen, on the stream, he was just as big as one of my hands, and now look at this. He's a big wild animal. Say hi right there. His expression definitely is, do not mess with me. Talking to the microphone right there. Meow into the microphone. All right, I was opening the window for him. He hadn't been on the stream in a little while. Great spot to have a bonfire. Well, on the beach area, not in the main city, since the police would show up very quickly. All that money pays for many things. He got way bigger. All right, so yeah, Coronado, it is a rich town, and right there. So to wrap up, a couple more photos, then back to this gameplay. I took, on another day, I went over there and I took some photos of in Coronado. So this one's way too close up. It doesn't look that great. But Coronado Glorieta Bay, boat launching facility, okay, etc. And yeah, that I could definitely get that photo looking better. But this is a boat launching, and across the way is the Coronado Bridge. There's only one way to get into Coronado naturally. Then there's a bridge, the Coronado San Diego Bay Bridge, that was built 40 years ago. And that's the other way to get out of or into Coronado. On that day that I happened to go there, when I finished taking my photos, I was going to go north to then get to that bridge to cross into San Diego proper to go drop off my photos. Well, the bridge was closed that day, unfortunately, because of an incident. So I had to return back through Imperial Beach, and everyone had to return back through Imperial Beach, and the traffic was horrendous because it's one way in, one way out. And when the second way out is closed for various reasons, then it's a big old cluster. So what else? So I thought this was funny. Acid room. This is to the left. Where I'm looking here, to the left, there's these I don't know what kind of acid for what reason, and it's funny that on the left side, if you all don't know, these are standard American. They might be international, but these are ways to delineate various toxic materials in a location. Each one of these squares means a certain thing, and then the fourth one is another thing. It goes from 0 to 3 of toxicity of what's in the room. This is a 201, and right next to it is a 301. So there's something very toxic in that room, something slightly less toxic on the left room, and in the middle it says acid room. So I thought that was funny. And the old film that was falling apart and had color shifts and such, I think give it an interesting feeling as well. Toxic. Yeah, this can be edited better later. Not a great shot anyway, but just another shot of some ferry. I guess that's the other way to get across as a ferry, but these ferries I don't believe transport vehicles. It's just people and tourists. Tourism sort of thing. You go around the bay and you enjoy the views. So you're stuck if you need to cross. And then various shipyards on the other side of the bay. So just one of these shots that I like to take of leading lines with empty spaces not full of people. There's the personal craft. I think that's City Hall or something there on the left or something. Oh, community center, that's what that is. So these colors came out okay, and it's interesting that some of these colors are just shifted so weird, and some of these other colors came out okay, although muted. But that's the gamble you get with, that's the gamble that you take with old film. It's a vintage hotel. It feels like it's 60s or 70s or even 50s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's at least 12 stories tall. 13. It's at least 13 stories tall. This definitely did not capture what I was going for, that there were these very beautiful pink, maybe cherry blossoms or something. I think San Diego has a sister city with a Japanese city. I don't know if they still do that anymore, but the whole sort of like sister cities thing. That used to be a bigger thing back in the day. I haven't heard that in a long time, but San Diego has sister cities. Oh, right here, sister cities. So here's our sister cities, whatever that means. So Alcalá de Henares in Spain since 82, I guess. Campinas in Brazil since 95. Cavite City in the Philippines since 69, I guess. Edinburgh in Scotland since 77. Jalalabad, interesting, since 04. Wow, we are a sister city with Jalalabad in Afghanistan. Interesting. Jeonju in South Korea since 83. Leon, Mexico since 69. Panama City, Panama. Wow, that's a big one. Isn't that the capital of Panama? Since 2015. I guess they're still doing this since 2015, sister city. Perth in Australia since 86. Taichung in Taiwan, 83. Tema in Ghana in 76. Tijuana, which is right across the border a few miles that way, since 93. Vladivostok, that's one of the most remote places in the world, but I guess we're sister cities with Vladivostok, Russia, since 91. Warsaw, well, that's a big city. Poland in 96. Yantai, China in 85, and there we go, Yokohama in 57. So I believe the cherry blossoms were a gift from Japan, and we've got various cherry blossoms throughout the city. And I was trying to get a shot of these cherry blossoms, these Japanese cherry blossoms, but the negatives were just trashed, so didn't really show up. Oops. Here we go. So, City Hall, old hotel. Just another shot in that same area. Oh, and here I took a shot of a Rolls Royce. So it's interesting. Some of these memories of things are more magical in the memory. Like a Rolls Royce. Yes, it has the fame nowadays of a very, very, very upscale car, but they're so rare that you never see them. But yeah, I saw a Rolls Royce. But does it even matter nowadays? Do we even care? Does it even have the prestige? Obviously, if you have a Rolls Royce, yes, it is very prestigious. But any of you right now there at home, if I say, yeah, I saw a Rolls Royce, would any of you say, wow? Or would any of you say, what is a Rolls Royce? I'm curious about that. Tell me that if I told you I was 1 meter away from a Rolls Royce. Is that impressive or not? I thought it was impressive because I have the memories, I guess, more of Bugs Bunny talking about Rolls Royces when I was 10 years old, and it stuck with me. So, yeah, I saw a Rolls Royce. Which is, what, are they supposed to be like a $500,000 car or something? But yeah, when I was growing up and I would hear Rolls Royce, wow, those are the rich people. They have a Rolls Royce. But I'm in Coronado here in San Diego, so that's a rich town. Cherry blossom trees are amazing on film. You got one share on the Discord. And yep, these are luxury cars. All right, so this is the architecture that they've got here. Also, is this? There's a big famous landmark that I took a photo of in a moment. Famous landmark here, and a lot of the other buildings have the same architectural motif as that landmark. And so this is one of them. And this is a restaurant. And it's got this motif of these, I don't know the name of the architecture, but it's this triangular steepled buildings. I don't know the name of the architecture. So then a fish on a flag, and then the flag. So that was a restaurant. Just another shot of it. Kind of nice. Again, these are the photos that these are the photos that my auto processing software spat out the result after the negative, but I can still go back into Photoshop and further edit the photos to get some nice details out of them. So here it is, the Hotel del Coronado, established in 1888. This is a big landmark in San Diego. Hotel that's over 100 years old, still in operation, pretty famous, because Marilyn Monroe shot her movie here. I believe it's called Some Like It Hot. I have yet to watch it, but there's a famous shot of her at this hotel. And this is the hotel. So you're seeing the motif here. This is the actual hotel. And then a few blocks down is some other building, not affiliated with the hotel, but it's got that motif of the colors of the wood and the shapes and such. I have a few shots of these, but just to show you, let me show you this way first. If we look up Marilyn, how do you spell her name? Marilyn Monroe. How do you spell her name? Marilyn Monroe, and then Coronado. So here's a famous shot. So there she is at the Hotel del Coronado, 1959 or something, for her movie. There's the hotel. And then there's my shot. I have a few of them, but here's my shot of the hotel years later. You can determine the exact place where she's standing, and if you're a hardcore tourist or hardcore Maryland fan, you can find the um, you can find the exact spot she's standing in, and you can take your own shot there where she's standing. Yeah, so this just classic movie from the 50s in the hotel there. And who's in that? Jack Palance and another guy? No, not Jack Palance. Who's in that movie? But she was there. The hotel's still there. So somewhere around here, standing somewhere around there, because you have that spire in the background, you find the spot right there and you can take a photo just like Marilyn Monroe. So anyway, on that, I was taking the final shots on that camera. So I went to Coronado, took that shot, vertical shot, same thing. This is from another angle. So that's from the south side, and I think, where's that, from the west side? Where is that at? Oh, no, that's the right side of the hotel, I guess. And I guess that's my last shot. So I ran out of film by the time I thought, okay, let me go to the spot, the famous spot. I ran out of film, so I didn't stand on the right place, but that's the famous hotel, which is also supposed to have some amount of hauntings going on there. And it's one of our San Diego landmarks. And those were my last shots. So those are the shots that I took with Gabe and Stevie and Karen that day that we met up, and then the shots that I finished the roll off another day. So I'd love to see. Stevie says he hasn't downloaded his photos or looked at them or something. I'd like to see what photos he got, and then Gabe, I'd like to see your photos too at some point. So that was a fun day that we got together. We got to do it again sometime. Let's do a little bit more gameplay, then I'll wrap up. I've been here 2 hours, 42 minutes, so we'll probably end the stream very soon after 1 or 2 more wins. And those are my latest photos, so thanks everyone for checking those out. I've definitely been bit by the photography bug again last year. At the end of 2021, I broke out my old Polaroid cameras, played with them for a bit. Then at the start of 22, I said, wait, let me take out my film cameras. And so I started to play with my film cameras, and then I discovered this brand new website called eBay. I don't know if you've heard of it. And so I've been spending a lot of time, too much time, on eBay and been getting all of these vintage cameras and having a lot of fun with them. So I have plenty to keep playing with. All right, so I got all of the mana rocks here, it looks like. One, two, 3 plus 4. Bring out that mirror or the talisman. So I'm out ramping the ramp deck. The green deck is always the, hey there, Keeb. Yeah, I'm going to catch them all. Check out all my Pokemons that I'm catching. Alright, so I got so much mana. I don't even know what this green player is quivering in their shoes that I'm out ramping them, because I'm already at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana on turn 4 or something. And so Ugin is on deck next turn, and then that will snowboard there. Yeah, oh, poor green player. I have no sympathy for you. But, yep. I don't know if you'll be able to deal with all of this massive show of force. Yeah, they're like, never mind. You've outramped the ramp deck. Just had a price rise for Magics. It's 10 New Zealand dollars up from 7. Ooh, that's a big one. So is that going to cut your one booster? Yeah. Is that going to cut your consumption, or were you getting any new packs anyway? I've cut it myself down too since last year. Because I was getting a box of the new set since I got back into Magic, but 2022 or whenever Kamigawa came out, yeah, that was last year, right? When Kamigawa came out, that's when I was like, okay, I'm kind of done indulging in that like I used to. I buy one pack here and there, but not like the box that I would buy when I was really into it. I'll just play with some of these fake cards instead. And the cards that I have, I can just keep playing with those. All right, one more game maybe. We're at 2 hours, 46 minutes at the moment. So I'm going to try to pull one more victory out of this deck and then wind down. Oh man, it's Mob Nixilis. Oh no, that's the desparked one. They go first, no ramp. Flying Trample, whenever one or more opponents each lose exactly 1 life, put 1 counter on this. Exile the top card. Okay, that's interesting. You haven't bought a pack since Eldraine. Really? That's a while. Can't afford to. We'll have to sell a big carving. Well, on the one hand, the price went up, but on the other, you're not buying them, so you might be okay. Oops, this is going to be very slow. So no good ramp for me. And everything's huge, so it'll just be a race to something. Ugh, that's not good. Alright, come on, I need my 5th mana so that I can play the Meteorite to get rid of that Legion War Boss, but they missed a land drop. And that's going to get out of... Come on, give me that. If I don't get that mana, I'm going to pass, just because it just... This adds up way too fast. Okay, good. So, Meteorite lands on Goblin. Film at 11. And then Nixilis. 5 mana to -5. If I lose exactly 1 life, so they do have the 1 Goblin. And now they're at 5/4, but we got a -5/-5. Got a bunch of mana. Okay, so City Leveler, that's what we will bring up next. Played a tap land, Underworld Dreams, who cares? Now that's an 8/8. I guess I'll just bring out Ugin. Oops, all will be 1. That looks scary. What does that do? Whenever you put 1 or more counters on whatever, all will be damaged. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I guess we'll get rid of that. Let's see if they block with 1 Goblin. Well, actually, that's even better. I forgot how good that card was. Okay. 8 damage plus destruction. Trample. Then Ugin. Make a blocker. Bring out a 6/6. Yeah, the tables have turned. And every time that 8/8 attacks, it destroys stuff. So unless you have a murder, that's... Oh, you got a soul transfer. Okay, good enough. And then, yeah, kill that. Yep, you should have exiled that, because I get 2 of them. Yep, you misplayed there. Opponent. You should have exiled the thing that... This is savage. You should have exiled the thing that didn't duplicate itself. So you need a board wipe now, opponent. Because that's a lot of action. Okay. Alright, yeah, I forgot this deck kind of did stuff sometimes. I hadn't played it in a while, but we had non-stop wins off of that one. I'm just curious what was my record today as we wind down. What is my record today? So overall 48% win rate, but on my recent hits here, 100% win rate off of this deck that I just played, 7-0. So the deck that I was just playing, it stomps the mono green deck, it stomps the Izzet deck, it stomps the Rakdos deck, it stomps the 3-color decks that I never memorized, it stomps the 4-color deck. 8 minutes, 55 seconds, 12 minutes. And this last opponent, 4 minutes before they realized things were insurmountable. Then, before that, what else did I play today? The deck that I was using right now on Arena is this colorless. I don't have this in real life, but it's this colorless Ugin deck because it's a brawl deck, not a commander deck. You can have a planeswalker as the commander. Oh, if you do it as Oathbreaker, you can do it there. But it's just this colorless huge artifact creature, draw lots of cards and make lots of mana type of deck. And if you can kind of get your pieces in order, you saw what happened right now on the game here. I had all of this mana, I had all of these artifact creatures, and just overwhelming. So it added up there. So then before that, I was playing this Umezawa deck. Dimir colors, 76% win rate at the moment. Although I have played that deck a lot, 56-18. Hold on. So this Ugin deck, yeah, I haven't played it in a while, so it's only got 7 matches in total. But that Dimir Ninjas deck, I've been playing it a lot. 56 wins, 18 losses. So a 76% win rate. Let's see, it struggles the most on Rakdos, 0-3. Yeah, because they burn all my stuff. I need little creatures to then sneak into big creatures. So they burn all my stuff and it has a hard time managing. And I guess a black focus deck also, they kill all my stuff so then I can't cheat in the big stuff. And then there. But it really wins versus when you try to play Wooburg, it's way too slow and it's 8, well that's not so great, but 8-4. And recently on today's stream is 100% win rate out of these 6 matches. 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute, 7 minutes, 3 minutes. And I was also playing this mono black little critters deck with Ayara. I've been playing that one a lot since I made the deck and put the video on my channel. 31-39, so 44% win rate. The last time I played it, That doesn't look accurate. I thought I played it a little bit before. Earlier today. It says I haven't played it in 18 days. That doesn't make sense. I was playing it earlier today, wasn't I? Yeah, let's play that deck one more time, then we'll wrap up. Let's see if I can just bring up a little bit of the win rate, because these stats don't seem right for that deck. We'll play and we'll try to win. But mono black creatures of the night. What do I even call it? This Ayara deck. It's the pain and drain. It's the pain and drain strategy, because everything costs 1 mana. When Ayara is out, it deals damage. Alright, so Torrens. This is a horrible deck. I need removal. I got removal, but I go first. Okay. So turn 1 Imp, turn 2 Thoughtseize, turn 3 Ayara, build up, and then exile. It's cool how you can see your stats like that. Yeah, it's a separate app. It's not built into the default Arena app. It's untapped.gg. You download the free app and it runs while your Arena is running, and it collects all these cool stats. That Elish Norn picture. It's just fascinating how those Phyrexians are, these weird, freaky, mechanical, Borg-like creatures. And the opponent is away from keyboard. I remember when this playmat first came out, this Amonkhet playmat, people were complaining that it was too multimedia, it was too fast, too much happening, because you had the river of blood flowing, you had the wind-swept desert, you just had too much. It was fast. They've really slowed it down now. It's not as bad as it was. They kept it on top. So let's take a quick look what's in the hand. 3 mana. They got a board wipe there. So we know a board wipe will come. So we'll do as much as we can before that. They probably won't attack. They are shattering. Okay, fine. That'll deserve a who cares. Because I get a lot of good stuff when my stuff dies. First we make a treasure. Do we want to learn? Yeah, we don't need to board wipe. And I get all of that. Fine. So see, I'm already back in play. Commander Fluffy is the opponent. Now my deck does use up its hand very quickly, so maybe it needs a little bit of card draw too. That's a good one. Giving it to itself. That's not good. Well, let's see if they take the bait here. Okay. So we'll play a mana rock. Try to draw something. You know, actually, I should get rid of that. It's just gonna get big, so we'll have to play the hard way. That was just gonna add up, so gotta get rid of it. So my opponent has this little goblin pet. If you try to touch it, it'll throw dynamite at you. All right. See, then now my deck is out of gas, so I have to rely on something good. But they've got Torrens back. And now I'm on the back foot. And they've got lifelink. So this is not good. Yeah, not doing so good here. I gotta get a kill spell to get rid of that life linker, and then Torrens is gonna make a bunch of creatures, so I don't think I'm gonna win this one. I'm struggling to get stuff off the top of the deck. I need board wipe. Now that's got hexproof, now that's got a Chroma's Monument, so GG opponent. Alright. Those good creatures added up. So, okay, we'll just wrap up at that point. I've been streaming for 3 hours. So, we went through the whole trip of playing various decks and looking at various photos. And there is Blood in the Snow in the deck. Yep, it's just that I didn't draw it, so it was too much to deal with, because I had to dismantle the lifelink creature. I had to get rid of Torrens, which makes more creatures. They have the Monument out, which gives all their creatures +7/7 and haste and flying and such, so it was too much to try to get rid of if I didn't pull the perfect card off the top of the deck. But yep, so thanks everyone for coming by. As I said earlier, a little bit of change to my YouTube channel. I will still do the Saturday streams of Magic, but I think I'm going to focus more on the comic book stuff on the main videos. I'll probably still do some Magic shorts, or maybe I'll move all of that to another channel. So everyone that's here, if you didn't do so earlier, please take a moment to do this. Those of you that came in towards the end of the stream, I would really appreciate it if you go over to my other YouTube's channels. If you go to youtube.com at digicams 4 days, or just search for it, I would appreciate you do a follow, a sub on that. I'm trying to do a channel there dedicated to vintage digital cameras. That's at digicams for days. If people go there, that'd be nice. I'll put that in the chats as well. I think I overposted it. And if it's more your cup of tea, I'm also at what did I call it? Marvel Minute. So if you're very interested in Marvel comics, I got a bunch of Marvel videos, 1 minute at a time. That one's focused all on shorts, pretty much. So if you're interested in any of those, people are interested in any of those, check those out for bringing up those numbers. Oh, thank you there. And so trying to get those channels up. So at the moment, like I said, my main channel right now, it's a little bit of everything. It's a variety stream platform, but maybe I'll follow YouTube's advice and focus it, and probably I'm focusing it on comic stuff, because look at that. One of my most popular videos of all time is 41,000 views, a comic book review, Comic-Con 9,000 views. Yes, those magic things are there, but those are 4 years ago. And that Ramones video is still one of my most popular from 6 years ago. But in all my recent stats show that all my recent, so like right here, this comic book review video, 181 views, comic book, 121 views, comic books 58, comic books 47, magic 21. So, and then the streams 21, 12, 11, 11, 7. So, so maybe I'll pivot a little bit on that. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming by. Don't be a stranger on the Discord, and I'll be back next time on another video or stream and the like. Have a good day or night for everyone.